Buenos Aires, capital city of the South American Republic, Argentina. In this city and its surroundings live some 14 million people, or more than half the total population of Argentina. In 1976, an economic multi-year plan was inaugurated in Argentina in order to impart an additional stimulus to the country's industrialization. A number of large projects are currently being carried out. The rural areas of Argentina are sparsely populated. A single river cuts across the endless flat pampa with a vegetation of low, thorny scrubs. A rather inhospitable environment when you're in search of food. Argentina also is the country of some 55 million head of cattle. The cattle are raised mainly in areas bordering on the pampa where dry shrubs have made way for grasslands. One of the results of the economic multi-year plan is that the exploration of large gas deposits in Argentina has got well underway in recent years. Reserves of some 600,000 million cubic meters have meanwhile been confirmed. The Neuquén gas field in central Argentina alone accounts for 400,000 million cubic meters. In order to arrange transportation of this gas, the Dutch-Argentinian joint venture CogasCo was awarded the job of constructing the main pipeline starting at the Neuquén gas field. The line runs in a northerly direction and has several branch lines. At Beasley, the line branches out in two directions. The total length of the system, 1,800 kilometers. The contract includes construction of a gas treatment plant at the head of the pipeline and 5 compressor stations. Finally, a control post will be built at Mendoza, from where the entire system will be managed and controlled. An aerial survey is essential to chart the layout of the pipeline. Special cameras are used to make hundreds of photographs that overlap each other. Day after day, aerial survey experts flew along carefully charted courses.
Right one. Okay, left 2.
Variations in the consecutive photographs caused by the movement of the aircraft are being analyzed here. Fixed points in the photographs are compared. In the process, every distortion comes to light. When enlarging the negatives, these distortions are corrected by tilting the projection plane on the basis of data calculated beforehand. This allows all aerial photographs to be matched perfectly, a job done in the drawing office at Buenos Aires. They provide a detailed picture of the countryside the pipeline will traverse. The aerial photographs reveal possible obstacles in the course planned for the pipeline. Obstacles one tries to avoid when charting the definitive route. The outcome of this effort, hundreds of specially drawn maps that provide precise information on all details needed by the surveyors in the field.
Te doy línea, Carlos. Más a mi derecha. Más. Más a mi derecha. Más. Correcto. Marcar. Otra estación, Carlos.
Meanwhile, back in the Netherlands, construction has started on the home units that are to accommodate the 2,500 workers to be employed on the project for the best part of a year. Standard units are used throughout. Sleeping cabins, kitchens, offices, cold storage. Also in the Netherlands, special pipe carriers have been developed to operate in roadless territory the line will pass through. The Hooghovens Estelle Group is the supplier of most of the pipes needed. Several factories in Europe are involved in the manufacture of more than 700 kilometers of pipes. High-quality steel plate, more than 8 millimeters thick, is formed between rollers to produce a pipe with a diameter of 30 inches, some 75 centimeters. In the case of these gas pipes, quality control plays an important role. Ultrasonic measurements reveal any imperfections both in the steel plate and the welds. Finally, each pipe is filled with water and tested at a pressure of 100 bars. Some 400 kilometers of 30-inch pipes, as well as the smaller diameter pipes, are supplied by Argentina. Here, no spiral welded, but longitudinal welded pipes, rolled from steel plates cut to the proper size. X-ray, ultrasonic and pressure tests are not enough to check the quality of the welds. An expert eye is needed as well. An internal expander has no difficulty ensuring that each pipe leaves the factory well-rounded. In the Pampa, bulldozers have begun cutting a path through the dry scrub. A strip 30 meters wide has to be cleared to lay the pipeline and allow for traffic of people and material. The pipeline also cuts through farmland, which requires personal contact and discussion with the farmers.
Buenos días, señor. Mucho gusto. Pertenezco a la empresa CogasCo. Vengo a notificarlo que va a pasar por esta zona acá, muy cerca de su casa. Un gasoducto. Parece muy bien. Ya gasoducto estamos tendiendo de Loma de la Lata a Buenos Aires.
In the port of Rotterdam, shipment of all that's needed for the project in Argentina has got underway. Special barges carry the pipes across the sea. More than 90 kilometers of pipe on one barge, ready to sail for a voyage of 12,000 kilometers. A 40-day trip to the other side of the world. Inquisitive onlookers in the lonely Argentinian pampa witness the soil being ripped open, a first step towards digging the trench in which the gas pipe will be lowered. As a rule, the soil is not all that stubborn, except for a stretch of rock formations of some 170 kilometers. Holes have to be drilled there every meter so that explosives can do their job.
Sí. ¿Lo probamos a preparar?
Sí, probamos.
The main trunk line has branches to a number of cities. Construction crews, for the most part Argentinians, are already hard at work on these branch lines, which are made up of smaller diameter pipes. Each crew member has his own task, and the teamwork is so efficient that a production rate of 5 kilometers a day is normal. The pipe barge, one of the 9 that set out from Holland on the ocean crossing, sails up the Rio de la Plata, heading for Ramaggio Bay, 350 kilometers inland.
1 meter, okay. 1 meter mas.
Speaking a foreign language is always difficult, but as long as one can communicate.
Necessário, eso, mucho, no posible, este lado, eso es bueno hoy.
The pipes being discharged here are taken by road to a number of depots along the pipeline route. To Santa Isabel, for instance, right in the middle of the Pampa. In a special plant, internal coating is applied to pipes as yet untreated. The smooth inner lining reduces friction between the pipe and the natural gas flowing through it. And this allows for less power to be installed in the compressor stations, which greatly reduces costs. A double jointing yard is set up on the site. Each 2 12-meter pipes, automatically welded together, reduces the welding work in the field by half. Also, it's more economical to transport the longer pipes. On one trip, a pipe carrier takes about 250 meters of pipe to its destination. Sometimes a 70-kilometer drive over rough terrain. These pipes are on their way to the sector of the pipeline running from south to north. They are unloaded with the aid of a vacuum clamp, well ahead of the welding crew. This is a pneumatically operated internal clamp which makes sure that each pipe is positioned correctly against the one already laid. The various operations are geared to fit together perfectly. When the welding crew arrives, the pipe is in position. The next double-length pipe is already on its way. Joining them is precision work. In order to make a good weld, a spacing of 1.5 millimeters is needed. When working with 4 men in a team, one has to think ahead. Welds are built up of 5 layers, a separate welding crew for each layer. The whole crew comprises some 60 men. For the time being, the local farmer has to go the long way around. He knows that the trouble will be over soon. But first, the welds will have to be tested. A self-propelled X-ray machine is slipped into the pipe to make X-rays. Each weld is coded with numbers and figures in lead, which also appear on the X-ray film. Experts examine the photographs, and not a single flaw remains unnoticed. If no defects are found, the pipe can be lowered into the soil. Excavators make light work of digging of more than 2-meter deep trench in the sandy Pampa soil. Sandy and dusty, a man's work is never done. The pipe receives a last treatment before it disappears into the trench. First it's dried, rust is removed, and it's automatically coated with primer. Tape is applied to the pipe to protect it from corrosion and mechanical influences. At a rate of 5 kilometers a day, this strange caravan slowly but surely crosses the vast pampa. "2,500 men are engaged in the work on the line. They are housed in 5 mobile camps. The cooks in these camps have to cater to the eating habits of many nationalities. For the best part of a year, most of this motley crew journeys from place to place whilst the pipeline grows longer and longer.
El largo de los 160 éxitos.
In the northern sector of the project, conditions are rather wet at times, making it necessary to use special prefabricated sections laid by special crews. Since the scene of operations moves along, the camps have to be shifted every 3 to 4 weeks to a location 200 to 300 kilometers further on. Meanwhile, construction of the various compressor stations is well in hand. At San Jeronimo, where one of the stations is located, the terrain is almost impassable because of heavy rain. Apart from a compressor station, San Jeronimo will also link the Centro-Oeste pipeline with the existing northbound line to Buenos Aires. At Loma de la Lata, at the head of the line, the gas treatment plant is under construction. Here, the gas taken from the wellhead will be dried. Propane, butane, water and naphtha extracted, some of which will be stored awaiting transport. At a later stage, when the production of gas increases, the capacity of the gas treatment plant can be enlarged. The gas pipeline not only traverses the pampa or farmland, it also crosses areas which make it necessary for the job to be tackled in a special way. A power dam between 2 lakes and the basins of 2 major rivers, the Rio Colorado and the Rio Neuquén. One after another, the river branches are temporarily dammed off and diverted. In the dry riverbed, heavy equipment is used to dig a trench in the shortest possible time. Speed is essential. The less the natural environment is interfered with, the better.
So it's necessary you take 1 more meter maybe. Come back up here, 1 more meter.
Meanwhile, on the riverbank, the finishing touches are put to the pipe sections which are to be lowered into the riverbed. The pipes have already been covered with concrete sleeves to weigh them down. All that remains to be done is for the pipe sections to be tested hydraulically one at a time. And that is done with each section in the entire 1,800 kilometer pipeline. The pipe is filled with water and tested for 24 hours at a pressure of 100 bars. In the final stages of the job, work goes on day and night. When the trench has been dug to the proper depth and testing has been completed, a 250-meter pipe section is hauled across the riverbed to the opposite bank. The next morning, when the job is done and the pipe lies buried 3 meters below the riverbed, the whole spread moves on to the next river branch. The project also includes the central control post at Mendoza, the heart and mind of the entire gas pipeline system. The national economy will receive a new boost from this, the longest gas pipeline in Argentina. Towns and villages until now deprived of natural gas will be connected to the pipeline. In addition, the growing demand for natural gas in other cities can be met. Within 2 years, the carriage capacity of the new pipeline will rise to 10 million cubic meters a day. And in the future, the capacity can be stepped up even further to 18 million cubic meters a day. The Centro-Oeste gas pipeline system will be handed over turnkey after a period of 15 years. Operation and maintenance during this time is in hands of CogasCo.